Hi everyone, this is the video for Graphs Section 3. In this video, I'll give an overview of the topic, I'll then go through the worksheet, and finally I will answer the questions that are on the worksheet. The description box below gives a link to my Instagram page. On here you can find images of the worksheet as well as the answer sheet for you to take copies of or look at again, so be sure to go check that out. In Graphs Section 1, I introduced you to graphs and straight line equations and how to take a straight line equation and plot it on a graph. In Section 2, I showed you the opposite, i.e. I gave you a graph with a straight line on it and I showed you how you could figure out what the equation for that line was. In this section, I'll show you how to work out the equation of a straight line when you're given a little bit different information. Specifically, when you're given 2 points that the line passes through, that's the only information you're given, and you have to work out what the straight line equation is. I'm going to show you how to figure that out. I'm then just going to show you how to find the midpoint between 2 points. So it's all about 2 points, this video is. So let's just get into it.
Right, this is the worksheet for Graphs Section 3. In this worksheet, we'll go over finding the straight line equation through 2 points and finding the midpoint between 2 points. So like I said in the introduction, we can find the equation of a straight line from various bits of information. In the previous worksheets, we learned how to find the straight line equation from looking just at straight lines on a graph. In this worksheet, we'll look at how to find the straight line equation from just being given 2 points that the straight line passes through. So if you're given 2 points that a straight line passes through, how do you find the equation for the line that passes through them? Well, you just do the following 3 steps. First, you find the gradient by plugging the coordinates for the 2 points into the gradient formula. We introduced the gradient formula in the Graphs Section 2 worksheet. Second step, you write out the standard equation for a straight line and substitute the value of the gradient that you just found into it. Remember, the equation of a straight line is y equal to mx plus c, where m is the gradient and c is the y-intercept. And the third step is to take your equation from step 2, rearrange it to make c, which is the y-intercept, the subject of the equation, and then substitute one of your points coordinates into the x and y values so that you're able to find the value of c. And that's pretty much it. So let's take a look at a few examples. Here we're told to find the equation of the straight line that passes through the points above on the graph. Let's have a look at the yellow pair of points first. So from these steps, we know that step 1, we're going to find the gradient first. What I like to do is just write out the coordinates of the 2 points like this. So I have x1, y1 is equal to this point up here, 1, 2. And the second point, x2, y2 is equal to -2, 4, which is this point here. Then I write out the gradient formula. The gradient formula says that m is equal to y1 minus y2 over x1 minus x2. These y1s, y2s and x1s, x2s you can get from up here, these coordinates. So I've substituted those values in. y1, which is up here, is 2, so that's there. And then the minus from the formula, and then y2, which is this guy here, -4, he goes there. x1, this is 1, so that goes down here, minus from the formula, and then x2, which is -2, so that goes down there. So we get this fraction, which then reduces to this, which we know simplifies because 6 divided by 3 is 2. Therefore, we get m is equal to 2. So we found the gradient. The gradient is 2. Step 2, we write out the equation of a straight line and make m equal to the gradient. So like I said, the equation of a straight line, y is equal to mx plus c. We've just found what m is, it's 2. Therefore, we get the equation y is equal to 2x plus c. So we're nearly there with finding the equation of the line that passes through these 2 points. All we have to do now is find this value of c. And we do that in step 3. So step 3 says find the y-intercept by substituting the value of one coordinate into the equation. An easy way to do this is first by arranging your equation to make c the subject. So to make c the subject here, we bring this 2x to this side of the equals sign. So we get c is equal to y minus 2x. Now we just pick one of our points coordinates. I always pick the coordinates that's nicest, i.e. has the nicest numbers. So here I've chosen x1, y1 is equal to 1, 2, which is this point here. At this coordinate, x is equal to 1 and y is equal to 2. So I can plug these values into this equation here. So you get c is equal to y minus 2x. Well, that's equal to 2 minus bracketed 2 times by 1, which is equal to 2 minus 2, which gives 0. Therefore, c is equal to 0. So we have the equation of the straight line that passes through these 2 points, and it is y is equal to 2x. Now let's look at the second example, where we're going to find the equation of the straight line that passes through these pink points here. Again, I like to write out the coordinates first. So I've got x1, y1 is equal to 3, 1, and x2, y2 is equal to 1, 0, these 2 points here. Now we know the first step is to find the gradient. So we write out the gradient formula. It's good to always keep writing out these formulas because it just makes you remember them. Like, it just puts it in your brain. That's what I always thought anyway. So here, m is equal to y1 minus y2 all over x1 minus x2. Now these y values and x values come from the coordinates up here. So we just put these numbers into here. So y1 is this guy 1, so we get 1 there. y2 is 0 from here, so we get 0 there. x1 is 3, so we get 3 there, and x2 is 1, so we have 1 there. This fraction then simplifies to a half. So we have m is equal to the half, so the gradient is equal to half. Step 2, write out the standard equation for a straight line. Y is equal to mx plus c. Again, writing out formula to make yourself remember. We already know what m is because we just found it. So our equation actually becomes y is equal to a half x plus c. So we've nearly found the equation of the straight line again. We just need to find what c is. To find c, we rearrange this equation and make c the subject. Rearranging gives c is equal to y minus a half x. Then what we do is we pick one of our coordinates and we substitute the value of x and y into this equation to find c. Again, I try and pick the easiest coordinate, which here I think it's this one because we've got a nice 0 and just a 1. So with this coordinate, x is 1 and y is 0. Therefore, this equation then becomes c is equal to 0 minus bracketed half times by 1, which is equal to minus a half. So c is equal to minus half. Therefore, we have the equation of the straight line that passes through these 2 points, and it is y is equal to half x minus a half. So it's quite easy. If you're given 2 points and you're asked to find the equation of the straight line that passes through them, you first find the gradient by substituting the coordinates of both points into the gradient formula. You then write out the standard equation of a straight line and substitute your value of the gradient into it. You then rearrange that equation to make c the subject and substitute the xy values from one of your coordinates into that equation to find the value of c. Therefore, you know the value of m, you know the value of c, and so you know the equation of the straight line that passes through those 2 points. Right, this section is super easy. It tells you how to find the midpoint between 2 points on a graph. I always found that examiners loved asking you this question, so I'd say this is definitely one to learn, and it's easy and bound to crop up. So if you're given 2 points and told to find the midpoint between them, all you do is add up the x coordinates of the 2 points and divide the sum by 2, and add up the y coordinates of the points and divide that sum by 2. This gives you the x coordinate and the y coordinate of the midpoint. The equation that describes everything I just said then is this guy here. xm, which stands for the x coordinate of the midpoint, and ym, which stands for the y coordinate of the midpoint, is equal to x1 plus x2 divided by 2, comma, y1 plus y2 divided by 2. Let's just go ahead and look at some examples and you'll see what's happening here if you don't already. Right, so find the midpoint of the pairs of points on the graph to the right hand side. Let's look at the pink points first. So we're trying to find the midpoint of this point and this point. Again, first thing I always like to do is to write out these coordinates. So I have x1, y1 is 2, 3, which is this guy here, and x2, y2 is equal to minus 2, minus 3, which is this guy here. Now all I do is plug these into this formula here. So I have xm, ym is equal to x1 plus x2 divided by 2, comma, y1 plus y2 divided by 2. Well, we had x1 is equal to 2 and x2 is equal to minus 2. So we get 2 plus minus 2 divided by 2. y1 is equal to 3 and y2 is equal to minus 3. So this becomes 3 plus minus 3 divided by 2. These fractions simplify down to 0 over 2, comma 0 over 2, which then simplifies further to 0, 0. And this is the midpoint between those 2 points. And it's indicated by this little star pink point here. So the coordinate 0, 0 is the midpoint of these 2 pink points. Let's have a look at another example. What about the blue points here? Let's find the midpoint of these 2. Again, let's write down the coordinates of the 2 points. So this point here, minus 3 and 3. We have x1, y1, minus 3 and 3. And x2, y2, 1 and minus 3, 1 and minus 3. Let's write out the formula to find the midpoint between 2 points. This is here. And we just substitute these values of x1, x2, and y1 and y2 into the formula. So x1 minus 3, which goes here. x2 is 1, which goes there. y1 is 3, and y2 is minus 3, which goes here. And these are both divided by 2. These simplify to minus 2 divided by 2, comma 0 divided by 2. And this simplifies further to minus 1 and 0. So this is the midpoint between these 2 points. And if you notice, I've actually put the midpoint in the wrong place. So I'm just going to change that now. So the equation minus 1 and 0 is actually here. So the best thing about maths is everyone makes mistakes. But if you just check your workings, you can see what's gone wrong and you can sort it out straight away, which is what I've done there. That looks a bit better, doesn't it? That actually looks like a midpoint. Hey, come on, Chelsea. So anyway, there we go. That is the midpoint, and it's signified by this little star here. Okay, so now you know how to find the equation of the line that passes through 2 points, and you also know how to find the midpoint between 2 points. It's probably a good time to pause the video, try out these questions here to test your knowledge, and then come back to the video if you want to match your workings to my workings and my answers to your answers. Or you can just head straight to my Instagram page where you can see images of the answers. Cheers for watching.